Hello, my name is Rafael De Conte, and this is the third part of World Economy and the Future of Humanity. In this part number 3, we will talk about biotechnological power. Yes. So, for further than the atomic power, today we need face new challenges in the genetic field. Let's start with a generic perspective of science. So let's think about a nanometric, right? What is a nanometric? Think about 1 meter. Let's take 1 meter, something like this. Now divide this 1 billion times, right? 1 billion times. What we will get? 1 nanometer. That is 0.000000001, right? This is the measure of 1 nanometer. Let's now think about the body. This document is a paper authored by me, but is in Portuguese, and I will use it to remember some numbers here in this video. So, 2 or more atoms structure a molecule, right? For example, of amino acid that structure our DNA, our genetic information. This kind of molecule has 1 nanometer. Now let's think about coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. When the scientists measured the virus, they found 100 nanometers, right? 100 nanometers. And the cell, a human cell, for example. Let's think about a human cell that is traveling inside our blood and is liable for the transportation of oxygen. This kind of cell is bigger than the virus, right? How many times bigger? Well, this kind of cell, this blood cell, has 7,000 nanometers, right? Or 7 micrometers. So, we have the molecule, we have the virus, and we have the blood cell. We even can think about the use of masks, right? People are using masks. And if we go to the specifications, technical specifications of the best masks for physicians, that is the N95, right? We will find that this kind of mask can filter 100% almost of nanomaterials with the measure of 300 nanometers, so 3 times bigger than coronavirus, right? Of course, it's important the use of masks. Why? Because a sick person that is infected with the virus, when are talking with another person in the air, the virus travel through the air, through small water pieces that is in suspension in the air. So the mask help the sick person not to spread the virus in the environment, right? So, but what is important and what I want to highlight here is that we are in a nano-scale world. We can take a virus, right, with 100 nanometers. Let's come back to the measure. Take a hair of your body, divide 700 times, and you will take the measure of a coronavirus. So it's very small, and this small world can be measured, manipulated by human beings today. So today there is the possibility of take a virus, take out the genetic material inside the virus that make humans sick, and put some substance inside the virus, and the virus will go into the cell, right? Replicate. So we are talking about the possibility of change a microcosmos, right, with nanotechnology. We can use virus to serve us if we can modify the genetic information inside the virus. And is it possible to modify genetic information? Well, we need to remember that today, some decade, even 1 decade ago, I think, we discovered the possibility to use a biological technique called CRISPR-Cas. That is a kind of scissor, genetic scissor, so it's possible to identify the genetic information inside the genetic code, cut this, put together with other genetic information. So we are talking about change the source code, the genetic code of beings, right? Let's think in a nanoscale. So we have 2 atoms, the structure of a molecule, right? Let's put together one molecule with another. The genetic code, it's an alphabet with only 4 codes, right? 4 letters, A, C, T, G. The sequence of these letters is what will define your genetic structure, right? So scientists today can see the sequence of the genetic information and cut, edit, manipulate these genetic codes, right? So changing the sequence of the genetic information of the nitrogenic bases, right? Cytosine, guanine, right? You will change everything. You start changing the source code and you will change everything. Now, imagine a society where we can use this virus, put a good genetic information that can bring health to us, like remedies, right? So, this will be very good. Imagine if the genetic engineering can bring to a sick person a new heart, a new lung, right? On put inside the virus some mechanism that will change all the body in a genetic level, right? We're talking about biochemical level. So, what is important? Today we already have a biological technique called CRISPR, right? This CRISPR-Cas, that is a genetic scissor, the genetic engineering, it's a cheap instrument. It's not so expensive. So, when we think about atomic power, we think the power is related with a state. Of course, there's humans that control this state, but it's related with this state and a lot of money, right? Now, biotechnology that can be used to modify genetically beings can be bought, can be used, this kind of instrument, by a single individual, right? So this is a very important challenge that the humanity will face, right? Genetic modified organisms. Today it's common, we have all kinds of plants genetically modified, right? But let's think in an ecological environment. When I use a virus, change this virus, put something inside the virus that will attack directly a human cell and spread this in a city, right? It's very difficult you measure the consequence of this, because nature, in a very specific chain of events, nature with millions of evolution brings equilibrium in an ecological perspective. When you put a new life inside this chain, considering that everything is connected, everything will change, right? So, is it good we have genetic engineering? Of course it is. But imagine other social situations. You have genetic engineering that you can use a biological technique to make persons live 200 years, 300 years, right? But who will be selected to live 300 years? And here is very simple. Just let's imagine that today people die because there's no money to very cheap remedies that can save lives. So, the economical difference always shape the science, always shape the human knowledge, right? Of course, the nature of human knowledge is a nature with fear, yes. And because of this fear, we develop, we evolve our science, our techniques to try live more and better. This is fair. Human being is a curiosity, a species, for sure. The true scientists is those ones that don't care for money. It's pure curiosity to understand. And the human nature has a will of potence, right? Uh, like Nietzsche thinks, yes, for sure. So, considering all these elements of the human nature, when we put this together and think that we already have atomic power, we already have genetic engineering power, and these two powers in less than a century, right? Well, I feel that we are lucky persons to be alive now, because human, especially mankind, conquest a degree of knowledge that today it is possible you commit suicide species, right, by an individual. Think a crazy scientist that understand mankind is a species that shall die because it's dying the planet. If this person modify a virus, spreading a city, this virus start to the mutation. Well, we're talking biotechnology weapons that can be used by single individual persons, right? And this is very dangerous. And this will shape economy in a very deep way. Because when you think about coronavirus, for example, considering a hypothesis, right? Because it's not proven yet, but considering a hypothesis that this virus was the result of genetic engineering, we are seeing the consequences to the economy. With a virus, a lot of countries get the economy stopped, right? And when you have the economy stopped, things get cheaper for the buyers, right? So, all this kind of technology, be atomic technology, be a biological technology, are under interests, mainly economical interests. Economy shapes the world. Economy shapes science and technology. This is the world economy and the future of mankind. My name is Rafael Decon. Please go to the social media and follow us for more content like this.